Drew Aller and Mendoza. Last year we were very big on Drew Aller, and we thought that Drew Aller was going to be the number one draft pick, and he was going to be this great prospect. And then what happened was Drew Aller got exposed. When Drew Aller played against good competition in difficult situations, we learned that Drew Aller just isn't a first round. He's not first round draftable. You can't. He's not draftable, guys. You can't draft Drew Aller in the first round, guys. You just can't do it, guys. I think that what you have to look for in the draft is a guy that can do it under. He can perform under pressure against good teams, against good defenses. And I'm telling you, that's Fernando Mendoza. Now, look, it's not Mendoza's fault that they're not going to play top-notch competition every week. So what you have to look for is you have to look for the way he plays against bad teams too. Does he do the simple things? Does he do the things that he's supposed to do? And the answer is yes. Unlike Drew Aller, who is so inconsistent, he's so inaccurate. Like he does outstanding plays, but he can't throw an 8-yard pass, guys. It's Zach Wilson all over again with him. You know, you got a guy who just can't seem to make the easy plays. And then if you put any pressure on Drew Aller, guys, he crumbles like a crumble cookie. Like imagine a stale cookie that when you bite into it, the crumbs go and crumble all over the place. That's what Drew Aller does when you put pressure on him. But Mendoza doesn't. Mendoza's a man. He stands up there, and he stands up tall, and he doesn't back down. He's not afraid to push the ball downfield like Drew Aller. All Drew Aller did was throw short passes up and across the field to Tyler Warren. And as soon as he lost Tyler Warren, we saw that Drew Aller is not a draftable quarterback, at least not day one. I know some people, hey, what's up, Wild Wave? What's up, Todd? I know that some people like Mateer. I'm not decided on him yet. I mean, he has some good games. He also has some bad games. We have to look at the film a little bit more. I'm listening to Frankie on it. Frankie has some concerns there, but I'm not about to say Mateer is not a good pick, but I wouldn't take him above Mendoza. Mendoza has NFL draftable plays. For every one play that I thought Drew Aller was an NFL draftable play, Mendoza has 2 or 3 plays to Aller's 1. The problem with Drew Aller is Drew Aller only throws one speed. He's a one-dimensional quarterback. He throws it as hard as he can. And he has a rocket arm. He has a cannon. There's no argument. And he might be really good because of that. But the guy has no touch. It's very rare to find Aller throw at a different speed. Now, there are people out there that will search and find a pass that he actually threw it a little bit slower. But that's very rare. And it's not consistent enough to believe he's more than one speed. He's a one-speed passer. Whereas Mendoza throws at all different speeds. He adjusts it based on the, why am I watching you guys teabag each other? They love each other. I mean, they're just so deeply in love with each other. It's amazing. It's like some people are with Drew Aller. Now, look, I have no problem with taking Drew Aller in like the 4th or 5th round as a backup pick to Mendoza. So, like, you pick up Mendoza, there's your guy, and then you have Drew Aller. Right? Maybe he holds a clipboard for a few years. Maybe he actually develops and he's a surprise. Like he has that 4% chance, like that I always say, 4% that a guy like that can actually end up being a real starting quarterback in the NFL. So he gives you that possibility. There's no question there's some talent there. But Mendoza is a guy that gives you that 50% chance. The film on Mendoza is much better. Don't listen to a guy who gets sold on a player, loves him, and doesn't want to admit he's wrong. We've heard, you know who I'm talking about. We've heard the whole Herndon Hooker thing, still making excuses for him. He was wrong on Herndon Hooker, guys, because he can't get off of the idea of a player. Once he's in love with a player, no matter how bad they are. Tyler Show, guys, whatever his name is, for New Orleans. He can't even start over Spencer Rattler. He's 26 years old, right? He came into his rookie year as a 26-year-old. You drafted him in the 2nd round. If you're not starting over Spencer Rattler, it means you stink. You're garbage. So if anybody who liked Tyler Shoe has got to admit and say, well, I was wrong. Because nobody is right in college. Nobody knows that they're right in college. So you just have to admit you're wrong. I mean, that guy, same guy has a lot of wins, you know? I mean, like victories and predictions. Like he knew Zach Wilson was going to be bad. Great. Good on him. He knew he was wrong about Bo Nix. Very wrong. Because even though Bo Nix is, I think he's overrated. He's still an NFL quarterback. You can't argue he's an NFL caliber quarterback. Look at Denver's record, you know, and he has his issues, he has his problems and his limitations. But you know, anybody who said that Bo Nix is not an NFL quarterback or is undraftable is obviously wrong. He's trying to pull back on his dark take that but he said you can't draft Jackson Dart. He said that. He said you could draft him in the second or third round, maybe, I think he said, but whatever, and he needs 2 years. Well, I don't know. Again, Jackson Dart's another guy. I don't know if he's automatically going to be this star quarterback, but I mean, you got to admit when you're just not saying the right things. You know what I mean? And you also got to admit when you're just like everybody else, that you really don't know, right? You have to admit that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, a lot of people are right about Daniels. A lot of people write about Drake May. You don't get to brag about that. You don't get to brag about being right about those guys. A lot of guys knew they were good, you know? But you can't sit there and point out and show film of Aller making a good pass and say, well, see, this is why he's better. Because, yeah, we could go back and forth. Mendoza has tons of film. He had an NFL draftable play today, a play that was an elite pass today. He hasn't had to make elite passes today that much. He's playing against a very weak team. But when he absolutely had to, he did. Again, the difference is that Mendoza scans the field, goes through progressions. It's one of the things I did like about Allars. He does that a little bit too. He's not a one-read quarterback. The difference is that Mendoza adjusts speed, is able to see things in different parts of the field. Whereas Drew Aller just threw to Tyler Warren. He only had one guy he could throw to. People say, "Oh, well, he didn't have good receivers." Yeah, he's not. They might not be NFL guys, but they're guys. The problem with Drew Aller is he just didn't see the field as quickly. He just kept his eyes on Tyler Warren, and he needed the guy to be wide open to make the pass. Whereas Fernando Mendoza can actually throw to a guy in tight coverage. That's NFL open, not college open. I mean, I don't think we got to make an argument. Everybody knows. I mean, Drew Aller is not going to be a first-round pick, and Mendoza is going to be probably the top pick in the draft. There's a chance Dante Moore or Ty Simpson from Alabama could go first. We see surprises like that take place all the time. My guy, if I was to rank it right now, it's Mendoza. I think Simpson's young, and he could stay in school, and there's not a lot of reps. But I like him a lot. I think he's right up there. I got to look more at Mateer. I have some concerns about Dante Moore. He might end up being excellent, but I have concerns about Dante Moore. There's some things I want to see. It's hard for me to say that an Oregon quarterback is worth a number one pick, like a top 5 pick. It's hard because they're throwing to wide open guys. They have tons of time. It's hard to really, to gauge if they're big time quarterbacks, but that's not his fault. It's not his fault he plays for a great program. So I'm certainly not writing him off and saying he's not draftable. I'm saying I really want to wait to the playoffs and see what he does against the top competition and see what he does under pressure. And the Indiana-Oregon game, there was no doubt in my mind Mendoza came out as the advantage Mendoza as far as that's concerned, as far as who you're going to draft, Mendoza or Dante Moore. But there's time, and we have to see because you can't judge everything by one game. But I think that one thing we know is, Drew Aller got hurt. He might be an undrafted free agent. We don't even know if he's going to be drafted. I think that's crazy. I think you got to take a flyer on him, on day 3. You got to. I mean, he's made a lot of good NFL draftable plays, like really elite throws a lot of, there's a lot of good things to say about Aller that makes him draftable, right? I mean, we can't sit here yelling out Mateer and all these other names and then pretend that Aller was so bad that he's not even draftable. I mean, that's not reasonable. He's draftable, right? He's not a first round pick, right? He's not a first round pick. He's too inconsistent. Now, is there a chance that a GM is going to jump up and get him near the end of the first round, like Jackson Dart? Is there a guy that's going to say, a GM that really likes Aller's arm and say, the guy's got a cannon. I think we can do something with this. And they start thinking of Josh Allen, Ben Roethlisberger, and other guys who had cannon arms, and Drew Bledsoe, and there's been lots of players. It's possible. It's possible they're going to like his attributes and take him, but you don't get a top 3 pick in the draft and take Drew Aller with that pick. If he's sitting there day 3 because nobody wanted to take a chance on him, and you want to throw him in the back, and bring in 2 young quarterbacks, have a little bit of an insurance, take a chance. Maybe you got your backup quarterback. Maybe there's the freak chance that he actually becomes the better quarterback. You never know. It's a possibility. But, man, the Jets can't walk out of that draft with just Drew Aller, right? So it's not like we could say, oh, let's pick position players, let's trade back, and let's just walk out of the draft with Drew Aller. That would be foolish. We need to get our guy, which is why I'm not against taking 2 quarterbacks in the draft if a guy like that was to slip, because I'm sure if Drew Aller didn't get injured and, he wasn't missing the rest of the season, he may have slipped out of the first round, but he wouldn't have slipped that far to the point where there are people thinking he's not going to get drafted, right? Or day 3. I think the injury does that. And I love taking guys that slip because of injury. I mean, as far as when you're rolling dice, because, people heal. Like, he's going to get better. He's going to heal. And he's going to, you see that, doing their job. They're protecting, guys. They're protecting. That's what they do. They protect. That's Klecko. Hey? Yeah, he heard his name. That's right. You're Klecko. That's right. And you're Jolene. Oh, I'm being attacked. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm being attacked. Oh, boy. Hey, oh. Oh, hey. Whoa. Oh, boy. Okay. Okay, Jolene and Klecko. Oh. Oh, I'm being licked. Oh, my God. It's craziness here. Anyway, guys, just remember, no on Drew Aller, yes on Fernando Mendoza. That's all I got to say about that.